Making games are pretty cool. But you know what's missing? That's right, Nietzsche. I don't... My relationship with game development is kinda interesting. I'm using this word because saying doomed toxic abuse would be too long. But I think this requires a bit of context, so let's go back.
Полагаясь на твои знания.
And 500 million years later, when I was around, I was exposed to the worst drug of all. Programming. More specifically, game development. Looking back, maybe it wasn't the best idea to learn it. Because those who enter the cave of computer science will change. So despite I've started early with game development, I've never actually built a real game. I've only built a bunch of prototypes from brackets to real videos, absolute peak by the way. And I haven't released actually anything, a finished product. I know a lot of question pops up with this. First of all, SZILI, why are you recording this in a different environment? Have you forgot to record this part? To you guys I say no. Anyway, I'd gladly show you some footage from these prototypes, but when the Windows died on my old laptop, we extracted the HDD from it. Then I've installed Arch Linux on it. It was a personality shaping experience. And we put the extracted HDD into this random office PC that currently has absolutely no operating system on it. So, no footage for you guys, sorry. At this point, I think it's understandable that after all these years of suffering, I really want to finish a game. Like, actually finishing it and releasing it. Doesn't matter if it's bad, unbalanced or unfun. I just want to finish it. And with that thought in mind, I've created a new Godot project. The first thing to do when creating a new game is to decide how many microtransactions we want in our game. All of them, of course. Ethics won't pay the BS, dude. With this done, the second thing to do is to actually decide what kind of game we want to make. I want to finish my game in a short time, so I don't know, top-down shooter? Yeah, that sounds easy enough. I've said this before every catastrophical project. First, I've added basic movement to this Godot thing. Then I forced it to always look at the mouse. Then I've added an obstacle and an enemy. They don't have problems with each other. I forced them to fight. Cool. But at this point, it is just top-down. But about the usage of high muzzle velocity firearms with chemical propellant, aka Avada Kurvadra. And it works! Okay, now we have most bare-bone thing of a gameplay ever. But to be honest, I'm kinda tired of looking at this placeholder texture, so I think we need a new one. You better not mess with my gang. Or you gonna mess with Oopie Goopie, General Munchkin Man, Lil Jim Bob, and the worst of all, Larry. The next step was to add a new enemy, a shooting one, but the journey wasn't without failures. What are Maxi Machine Gun? After this I've started to work on the story of the game. My idea was a game set on an asteroid orbiting a black hole where a player was sent to steal back the skull of Edward Teller, theoretical physicist. In case of success you would be rewarded with 10,000 chicken nuggets. The skull, however, is guarded by an army of anthropomorphical plants who worship the skull. Because Edward Teller, in fact, has never died in our dimension. He faked his own death and opened the portal into the asteroid dimension where all the stars are already dead and have collapsed into black holes or supernovas. Edward Teller wrote down a way to turn the Hawking radiation of the black hole into electricity, which ended up saving the plant people, so they started worshipping him as a god. Yeah, I overscoped it. But I made cool concept art. I like it. We can't use this, so no story? Of course not. My next idea was a game about a blue dot on a mission to kill God. Yeah, I have problems. But later, while studying calculus, I realized it would be way funnier with Nietzsche as the player. And speaking of Nietzsche, Friedrich Nietzsche was a German philosopher with a really cool mustache and a not so cool life. He suffered from health problems, later he was paralyzed, misunderstood by his generation and even more misunderstood by the next one. So yeah, not the best. His most famous statement was "God is dead," which is a metaphor for Christian morality, I think. He also talks about the Übermensch, not those who can find their own meaning in a new godless world. In a nutshell, yeah, but this was like really surface level. I don't really know what I'm talking about, so if I made some kind of mistake, please let me know down below. By the way, God is dead in German is Gott ist tot, which has a lot of teeth, and you know what has a lot of teeth? Yeah, a bit unrelated, but do you know that the original sentence appeared first in the book, The Gay Science? Yeah, I've looked it up. The original title was Die fröhliche Wissenschaft, which means the joyful science. So why the yaoi? But another search later I realized that gay also means happily excited. The moral of this video, English is f***ing weird. So yeah, the main character of the game will be Nietzsche. I know this is kind of a misunderstanding of the whole thing, but being misunderstood I think would be really in character for Nietzsche. But since I haven't made any real art for Nietzsche yet, you have to tolerate this placeholder texture. Finally, game development in a game development video. Firstly, I've drawn some sprites for the enemies. Then I've made a system to automatically register the current number of enemies on each level. The gameplay loop is simple like
a 2008 Toyota Corolla.
There are 10 levels and a boss level. On each level you have to kill all of the enemies, then you have to shoot the gate, this game thingamajig to progress. Such a good word by the way, thingamajig. Originally I wanted to make randomized levels, I even wrote some code for a generator, but for the sake of simplicity I abandoned in favor of handcrafted levels. Your HP stays between levels, but to avoid making a roguelike, I have added blood to the game, which you can drink to heal. But how should I display the HP? Yeah, you're right, a realistic ever-beating horde.
It wasn't my idea, no. It was the cursed adventurer who whispered secrets into my ears. Bloody and rich secrets.
By the way, you can die now because there's an afterlife. And now let me talk about the biggest bug/feature in the whole game. The bullet mechanic. I've tried to make bullets stop slowly over time, but I messed it up, so... But then I realized, heck, this is kind of fun, so I've kept it. The bullets are now coming back. Then I've made 4 different obstacles to make the levels more colorful and more... With these building blocks I started to build the actual levels themselves. Then I've added 2 more enemies, a shotgun enemy and a machine gun enemy. Since this is not a roguelike, I've added a restart level button on the fail level, which broke like 5 different times during development and each time in a new way. I hate to admit, but it was quite impressive. Then I've asked my siblings to playtest it. They've liked it, but the game was a bit too easy with just spamming the left mouse button. So I added a time frame after every shoot where you can't shoot. I've also fixed a bug that made the AI not AIing. Next, I've improved the way to travel between levels.
I've made the gates bleed as well,
so you won't switch level accidentally. I've also added a simple main menu. I've added so many things, and it was really great to feel the progress. But then life said... I had to leave development for 2 weeks to study on my exams. After all that done, I sat back, booted up the project, and then I just added it. The game functioned, but it still hadn't felt great. Nothing to be excited about. The things I listed beforehand took me over a month to implement, which is crazy slow. The fail level broke again for some ungodly reason. Internally, I wanted to give up. I've made a ton of prototypes over the years, but am I able to go a step further? Or is this the end of this dream as well? So many things to fix, but nothing to grab onto. But that struck me. Nietzsche! I forgot to add Nietzsche! I've quickly drawn the sprites, added them into the game. This gave me enough motivation to keep going. I've drawn the boss, made the attacks, added some indicators before the attack so you know when to dodge. Then I've added an epilogue, terrible sound effects, and a custom music track, which is also criminally bad. Then I've started to fix bugs like crazy and got the game into a somewhat playable state with the digital equivalent of duct tape. And last but not least, I've made an itch.io page for it. The plan is finished. Game is finally done, and it's terrible. You can play it as well. It's on itch.io. There's a link down below. It's a web game, so you don't even have to download anything. Somebody even wrote this. Awesome, but the main character is Nietzsche. 9 out of 10. Thank you, fellow dweller of the internet. And thank you too for watching this video. I hope you have a good day before the
Eternal worm comes back for Connecticut.
Bye.
Damn well everybody gon' die someday. Did you waste my time knowing damn well we can press rewind? One day I'll be